The ocean had always known monsters, but even monsters knew fear, and fear had a name whispered only through pressure and currents in the deepest trenches of the world, a name no creature dared speak aloud, a name older than continents, older than bones, older than the idea of survival itself, the sea dragon, and it slept, coiled around a volcanic abyss so deep that light had never touched it, its body stretching like a living mountain range, scales blackened by heat and time, each breath pulling warmth from the planet's core and sending tremors through the seabed, a being so lethal that entire species evolved instinctive terror of its presence, a creature that did not hunt because everything else simply fled or died. And on the day the human child fell into its domain, the ocean went unnaturally still, currents slowing as if afraid to move, predators freezing mid-motion, leviathans retreating into shadows not out of hunger, but out of reverence, because the child, small, fragile, wrapped in a cracked deep-sea exploration suit with blinking warning lights and a broken tether drifting uselessly above, was sinking directly toward the dragon's resting place, 7 minutes of oxygen left, heartbeat racing, lungs burning, unaware that she was descending into the heart of death itself, watched by dozens of ancient sea monsters who did not interfere because nothing interfered when the dragon's territory was breached. And then, without warning, the dragon's eye opened, a single massive eye glowing like molten gold beneath layers of darkness, its pupil contracting as it focused on the impossible sight of a human child touching the ocean floor alive. The awakening alone sending shockwaves through the abyss, cracking rock, collapsing events, scattering creatures in blind panic. Yet the dragon did not strike, did not roar, did not burn the water with its breath. Instead, it lifted its colossal head slowly, unfolding from the trench with terrifying grace, its movements precise and deliberate, teeth sliding past the child's helmet close enough to melt metal, heat distorting the water around her, alarm screaming inside her suit as pressure climbed. And the monsters watching waited for the moment of annihilation that had ended civilizations before. But it never came, because the child did not scream or run or fight. She simply stared through her visor at the enormous shape before her, fear flooding her small body, yet mixed with something no monster understood: trust. And with trembling hands, she reached out, gloved fingers brushing against the dragon's scale, a touch so light it should not have registered, yet the dragon flinched as if struck, not in pain, but in confusion, because nothing had ever touched it without hatred or hunger or terror, and this creature carried none of those. Its heartbeat loud and fast, its body weak and breakable, its intent simple and pure. And as the child's oxygen alarm wailed louder, panic rising, tears floating weightless inside her helmet, she leaned forward without understanding what she faced and pressed her helmet gently against the dragon's snout, a kiss born not of bravery, but of fear and innocence. And in that instant, the ocean convulsed as the dragon recoiled violently, memories older than the sea itself tearing through its ancient mind. Memories of a time before endless war, before survival was domination, before the deep learned cruelty. Memories of warmth without destruction, of life without extinction. And the dragon curled its massive body inward, shielding the child instinctively, its coils forming a barrier against crushing pressure and lethal heat. Sea monsters watching in silent horror as the god of death became a guardian. As the child's oxygen reached zero and her small body went limp. And then the dragon moved with terrifying speed, releasing a roar so powerful it shattered sonar arrays on the surface, cracked tectonic plates, and sent shockwaves across entire ocean basins, currents reversing, predators fleeing, as the dragon surged upward through the water column, faster than any creature had ever dared, carrying the child cradled against its chest like something precious. Human ships detecting the disturbance too late, alarms screaming, weapons arming, crews preparing for annihilation, until the dragon breached the surface in an explosion of steam and water and fire, towering over fleets, placing the unconscious child gently onto a rescue deck with impossible care, before diving back into the depths without a single act of aggression, leaving behind stunned humans and a living child who would survive and never remember what she had done. But the ocean remembered, and from that day onward, shipping lanes went untouched. Attacks ceased, deep-sea monsters retreated into darkness, and a new law spread silently through the deep, carried by pressure waves, an instinct older than language. Do not harm the young of humans. Do not threaten them, for they tame gods without knowing how. They touch death, and death listens. And far below the surface, the sea dragon sleeps once more, no longer coiled in hunger, but in watchfulness, guarding the world that produced a creature capable of disarming extinction with a single innocent kiss. Because humanity did not conquer the ocean that day, did not dominate it with steel or fire or noise. A child simply reminded the deepest monster of what it had forgotten, and the most terrifying being on earth chose to protect rather than destroy.